time. This setup. All right. All right. Let's do this. Oops. Wrong area.
Hello. Thanks for coming. Just trying to get this done. Got a lot to do after the stream. Hope you've been well. Hope you have been well. Turn this down in my ear. It's all loud. It's making me talk loud. Yeah, I like the way I draw her. Obviously, the AI version of her is a lot more detailed, but that's because I had to do that for a render. But I like her cartoony look. Gives her a nice contrast between that version and when I draw her. So I'll probably put her in like a Asta cast at some point. And then I'm working on that that maid set. I'm working on the second character who's almost done. I'm in the middle of their rendering. Here's like a small little tease of her. Oh, I hope you have a good time during your vacation. Be safe when you do go. And then after that maid character, I'm gonna draw Marcy trying to put on a maid outfit. So that'll be a fun bonus. Hopefully I can get it all done tonight, and then it'll be ready in the morning. Might take a little bit longer if I'm adding Blake for the gag. And then after that, it's pretty much just working on comics. Gotta work on the next one in line. Yeah, I've been good. Just keeping myself busy. Been getting messages about commissions and stuff, so might open at some point. I don't know when. I'm just considering it. Can't hurt to do it once every few years. The problem is like keeping it or trying to make it fair for whoever can get to it first. So I might do the auction route again. Hadn't done that in forever. But we'll see if I'm in the mood to do them. If I am, I'll probably make a post about it prior. Just so there's at least a little bit of a heads up. big lizard dies. Alright, take your time. Hello, hello, welcome. Hello, welcome. Just working on this. No, I haven't tried G Fuel at all. Hello, hello. Oh, you're talking about the first video of this character when she gets fat? Yeah. For whatever reason, YouTube took it off, even though there's plenty of other fucking AI weight gain videos that I found on their site, and other fetishes that they still keep on their site, but oh, just because this one's weight gain is a little too far. So whatever, I guess. I'm doing alright, just keeping myself busy with everything that I do. But yeah, luckily I was able to put it on Twitter. I just had to get the Twitter premium in order to put on videos that are longer than, what is it, like 3 minutes or whatever. So luckily it was only like $4, so did that so I could put the video up there. Annoying AI space games. I don't think I've seen those, but I've seen plenty of AI games or whatever. Some of them are legit, and then other ones are just like they only show you the good parts, and so if you ever get the game, you have to play through like the shittier parts of the game just to play like a short moment of the good stuff, and then you got to do it all over again. And those ones are just not worth it. And I keep clicking onto this character. I didn't want to close it because I was still working on it, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we didn't see anything on her. So I did a zoom up of her face just so could avoid that. Yeah, I'm sure somebody did some shitty thing and reported it. Because I've seen much worse on YouTube, and so for that one specifically to get taken down, even though I've had weight gain comics on my channel, so I'm sure it's just people being shitty about the fact that it was AI. But actual work did go into it. It wasn't just like I typed in a prompt and then that's what I got. I went through several clips for that video and then put them all together in editing and then arrange the music and everything else I had to do for it. So it was not that simple of a task. And then because I was making a weight gain, I was like, well, if it's gonna be weight gain, I'm gonna at least make it fucking 15 minutes. So did all the BS to make it that long. And I enjoyed it. So it is what it is. She's not actually a dragon, she's a frilled lizard. But her name is Z. Z Banza. What happened to the strawberry dragon girl? She is a maid, and her whole story, at least what I have at the moment, is that she is a maid, or one of the maids that works for a very rich married couple. And for the context of the picture is just like a random thing of her doing it with her master. But the story behind it is that she gets proposed to by her masters to help them have a child, since the wife is unable to do so. So they ask her to help them out, and she's already dedicated to them, so she says yes. And then everything else that would happen after that. So that's just like a on the shelf idea that I'd like to do at some point. Let me check, see what else. Personally, I'm very cool with this guy. Yeah, because that's the whole thing. Oh, hold on, let me put on some music. That's the whole thing that I wanted to do. It's something that I can't normally do on my own, not without halting regular drawing in order to learn 3D again, because I learned it in college, but a lot has changed since then, so I definitely have to relearn stuff, especially if I'm going to use like Blender and all that. But I was using it for stuff that I can't normally do. I made characters specifically for AI, so none of my previous characters from the other stuff were going to be in it. Trying to make it like its own, like not just pump out something and then it's done. It's more like there's like an actual narrative, and there's like even if I were to just do like clips of the characters and all that, I would at least want to do something that falls in line to what they would actually be doing living in Sable City and all that. So that's the thing. And yes, I understand people's opinions of AI and like the environmental stuff and all that, but there's so much that we do that already does that AI doesn't really do that much different. Like electricity alone already causes thermal pollution and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But yeah, my main goal with using AI is to use it for something that I can't normally do. I'm not going to use it to make art because I can already do that. So that makes zero sense. Because apparently a lot of people thought that I was just going to give up drawing to do AI, and I was like vastly confused over how they came to that conclusion. Because at no point did I ever say that I was doing that. Because I had so many messages saying like, "Oh, you're so talented," blah blah blah. I really liked not AI, iHat and all that, and I was like, "Good, I'm not stopping." Like, I don't know why you guys are freaking out. And then, of course, you have the people who are jumping in who never said shit to me before, but apparently had been supposedly around since forever, saying like, "Oh, I've been a fan." Like, well, you're very quiet for someone I never talked to before. And granted, obviously, not every fan's gonna talk to people that they follow, but still, it was just kind of like out of nowhere. And then the other thing was like they're trying to say like, "Oh, you could have got other people to work on this and blah blah blah. Could have been a huge collaboration stuff," and yet not a single person recommended anybody that could have fit whatever it was I was trying to do. So it was just like, okay, cool. I'm glad none of you recommended anybody. And even then, that's still going to cost money regardless, so it's not like it's going to happen right away. So I am using AI as the tool that it was intended to be. And it is only going to be specifically for Sable City and nothing else. If at some point I do decide to use any character that existed beforehand, that would have to be a very specific scenario. Or like some kind of crossover cameo thing. I don't intend to do that, but if that was the case, that would be the reason. But yes, I intend to use it as the tool it was intended to be and not just use it to pump out random 15 to 30 second stuff. The question... I mean, there already was a fat version of her in a previous collector set, which I tried using for the AI. Getting the AI to make her fat was the biggest challenge out of the whole goddamn thing. Because it kept trying to keep her, like, skinny or to, like, a specific weight. And I had to, like, trick the AI into making her the fat size that I wanted her to be. And then I also learned through dabbling with the AI that I could manipulate their results with my own editing, like through taking it into Clip Studio and all that, and then changing the proportions of the characters and stuff like that. I learned that if I do that and then tell the AI to use that as the reference, then it will obey that as long as I tell it to be 100% accurate to the reference. Sometimes it'll dabble off, but more often than not, it was obeying the instructions. The hard part is getting it to not recognize it as something that needs to be restricted. So it was an interesting learning experience of what I could manipulate it to do. What else? Truth is that I saw your video on a female woman. I was ready to follow that view. Yeah, that was the biggest hard. That was like one of the hard parts is making her fatter and fatter throughout the video. So I had to like, because there would be shots where it was going good and then it would like fuck up towards the end or fuck up in the beginning but be good at the end. So there would be some videos where I cut it up and put them together in editing and stuff like that. Or there was like one scene where she was fine on her own because she was like big and fat, but there wasn't like enough debris on the floor. So I actually went through a scene and took a table and screenshot it, took it out, and was compositing it into the scene and all that. But then I found like another shot that fit better, so I scrapped that and used that instead. But there was a point where I was using screenshots in order to edit the background and stuff like that. Because I learned how to do that stuff when I was working on movies and stuff like that, so I know how to composite and stuff. Yeah. I only give question option to Gemini. Or opinion to Gemini. I don't think I've used Gemini. Networking is such an underrated aspect of the sphere. Even if you want to work with others, it's like hurting. Yeah, networking is a challenge because networking is a challenge, especially when you're trying to put something together, and then some people will take months in order to be able to give you what you want and stuff like that. And sometimes you're on a time frame where you just won't be able to have those collabs. Like, I'm not saying networking is impossible or not preferred, but I can understand certain people being in positions where they can't do it. And so, you know, despite opinions of AI, it does assist in certain situations like that. Like what's going on with the VTuber Leaflet. How she made a AI VTubing app or whatever it's called, and she said in a podcast that she originally made that program to help a friend who did not have the ability to make a VTuber model because of not only that they had like a very old computer that they could not just get like a new one or anything like that. They live in like a territory where that stuff is incredibly difficult to upgrade on and stuff like that. So she made the program for them, and then just decided to let everybody else have it, and then everybody was like losing their shit over it to them and calling them like a horrible person. And it's like, well, damn, like you're saying that she should be caring for people, but then you don't care about the person she made the program for in the first place. So I was just like, well, fuck. But just to clarify, for those who still think otherwise, no, I am not giving up drawing just because I'm trying to make a series based on or using AI. I'm not gonna give up drawing. That's like not happening ever. I was just baffled by how many people that kept assuming that. Like that's the reason why it was in 3D to begin with, because I purposely wanted to avoid 2D for that exact reason. That, and I didn't want to use like 2D art styles that that could have fit with like something with like a particular unique style. Like sure, 3D could fall into the same category, but I don't think I'm going to be seeing that many 3D furry based animation or whatever you want to call it sequences the way that I'm using it for. But it's going to be a slog though, because I'll have to set aside time to work on it, and then I get free points every day, so can use those for making more scenes and stuff like that. Like I think I get more tonight, so I'll probably use it to make like a prison area in case I need it, because it's better to have a lot of locations in case I need it. On a different track, I thought about Black Circus. Yeah, I need to work on more comic stuff once I'm done with the art collection stuff. Oh, no worries. There wasn't really much else to say. Because, like, I showed this last stream. I'm gonna show this real quick. Is it in here? Ah, here it is. Yeah, so like here's how Z looks in the AI version. Oops. Hey, Marcy. There we go. So yeah, told it to adjust her face a bit to be more even and stuff like that. Tried to stick with how she looks as much as possible. Don't know why I gave her like that little break on her belly, but it wasn't like a deal breaker, so I just kept it. Then it kind of gave like a squarish pattern on her inner thighs, but it's one of those situations where it's like, am I gonna keep fighting it to try to correct some mistakes, or am I just gonna say fuck it and let it and move on? Because every once in a while I'll get like some parts of her outfit wrong, where either it would put like buckles where the space is, or some of the straps on her arms change, or her back, like whenever there's scenes with her back, the design on her back would change. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's AI, it is what it is, move on. Just try to make it as coherent as possible. Black Circus is to iHat like Treehouse of Horror is to Simpsons. How accurate would you say is that statement? Well, Treehouse of Horror is a bunch of non-canon horror stuff for The Simpsons, whereas Black Circus is canon to iHat. It's just focused more on specific individuals that end up doing very, very dark stuff. Yeah, in terms of like creepier, weirder stories, yeah, it's basically like that. So yeah, I would say that's about accurate. The only change, or the only tweak, would be that Black Circus is canon, whereas Treehouse of Horror is non-canon. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, it's basically the same thought. Because like once we get to chapter 3 with Joanne, things will start to ramp up more. Alright, so I think we are good on this. We can move on to the next part. Yeah, like Black Circus has always been canon. It's just heavily focused on specific characters, whereas iHat can technically keep going on forever by having various characters to focus on each time. Like, technically Secrets is not even a necessary thing. The only reason why I call it Secrets is just because the comics are short and they're not going to be like various chapters compared to regular iHat. But it can technically go on forever. Like, however many characters I have, I can technically make an iHat for all of them. Will that happen? Most likely not. I would like it to happen, but it's just not realistic. And then iHat itself is just focused on background characters from the other series that I need to focus on, so there's that. And I forgot to color those. Luckily, fixing this is easy because I streamlined the process for this exact reason. See, this is why you streamline. So that way, if you make a mistake, you can easily fix it. And since I'm here, I might as well fix this little error. missed this belt, this buckle right here. And I did see this error earlier, so I might as well fix this too. See, this is why we do this. Alright, and then all I gotta do is fix the shading with the new color, because it carries over the errors. So do that. Oh yeah, I need to do it for this too. Oops, do not merge that. Merge that. See, and that is why we streamline. And done. That was easy. I know, short. Well, much shorter than what I Hat 1 ended up being. But I know I need to start speeding stuff up. Well, keeping up the pace that I have, or what, I don't know. I'm just making it as I go. And that just using the wrong brush for that. There we go. I was like, that doesn't look right. It's like, well, that's because you're using the wrong brush. So, curiosity is Z is canonically a foodie glutton. She is canonically a glutton, but we haven't gotten to that in terms of like the actual Sable City series that is now a thing. She hasn't gotten to that point yet. We're at the beginning of her kind of going down a depression route, and that's mostly because of the city itself. Like, the city is just shit. Like, the city is not good in the first place. Like, if you're living in Sable City, that's because everywhere else is not possible. And the owner of the city, she is a celestial who is basically the god of pain and suffering. So she's a sadist, and so her whole thing is she allows everyone to live in the city, but they have to pay it's almost like Tom Nook. Let's put it that way. She's like Tom Nook, but if you're short on money in order to pay your living expenses to stay there, she'll have you pay in different ways. and one of those ways is the black liquid that that Z ends up drinking, and she enjoys seeing people just kind of lose themselves. Not Z, but the god that creates it. She enjoys seeing people just spiral down, just like go further and further down. And so, based on the results of whenever they take drugs or whatever else, she will deduct that from their depth. But of course, there's interest with their depth, so there's situations where it's like, okay, they go through all that trouble, but then if they go through long periods of time of not paying on time or paying too little and stuff like that, the depth just goes back up. And so Z, unfortunately, is one of those who has had bad habits that ended up putting her in the city, or taking her towards the city, and she ends up living there. And so she has a bad addiction problem. Why not move? The area in which they live in is odd. Like, once you go there, once you end up there, leaving is a challenge. Because, you know what, let me just show this stuff. Fuck it. Let me save this real quick. I won't show everything, but I'll show some of what I have. Because some of this I made using the free points that the site gave. So for starters, if you try to leave the city and avoid paying the debt that you already owe the god, well, first let me show the god. I guess that should be the first thing I should be showing. So this is the character that made Sable City. She is a god that just made the city and opened it for anybody who's desperate, basically. And then she's holding some of the black liquid, just because she can produce it. I want to say the black liquid is like her blood, but it could be anything. She could just have it appear if she wants. And then here's like a little bit more about her. So like just more information on her. The funny thing is, I'll show this. The funny thing is, when I first got this version, or this turnaround, they made her face look more human with the first version, and then I wanted her to be a lot bustier, and then of course I wanted her to have a more goat-like appearance. And so all I did, let me open this, go back to this. So all I did was just edit her face and then draw in her face to be longer like a goat and all that, and then I made her tits bigger. So we're just switching between the two. Or let me put this back to 0. Because the AI will take in whatever it's looking at, and so all I did was just draw it, and the AI will obey it. I haven't like rendered out any animation of her yet, but we'll see how that works, because it did it with Z, because I was experimenting with Z a lot. But yeah, all I did was just make some edits and changes so that way it would make the character look the way I wanted to look. But yeah, she's the one that controls the city. And so if you try to like leave without paying your debt, she will have this thing come after you. Here we go. So here's this. This is just, I just call her a ragdoll, with like a play on words with ragdoll. But this is just like a robot that will obey orders. So like whatever their tasks, there are several of them. So whatever their tasks are, they will obey. And then they also carry the black liquid in their stomachs. So if they catch you, they're just gonna throw up the black liquid into your mouth and make you go on a trip, and then that will be somewhat paying back your debt. And then they'll just drag you back into the city while you're tripping balls. Balloon those boobs. Exactly. And then I'll put this one on the side. And then let me put on another song. To make matters worse, there is this character. We have someone over here who has a similar task, but this one is willing to like if you're like super adamant of trying to leave and stuff like that and somehow get as far as you can, this one is tasked to just straight up kill you if necessary, or at least heavily disable you and then drag your ass back. So better not to get this one on you. And then they both have like the X's on their foreheads because that's just something for them both to have. Random slice of life. AIVirusstreamboo.com. I don't know if that's something that Joanne should be eating, but we'll leave it for now. So there's those two. And then last but not least, the citizens are less likely to come across, but there's this thing which is basically a guard for the Celestial where she lives. Are the guards necessary? No, but she has them anyway. And then they probably have like the black liquid inside them too, but it's not like as useful compared to the robots. And then I do have where the god lives. Where is it? Ah, here we go. So the god lives here. And I had to take because like that large castle that you keep seeing in the background in the videos, that's this area that I had made. So this is where the god lives. So if you feel like trying to bargain with her, make the journey and go visit. Like her home is open for people to visit, so that's how confident she is in the structure of her city. And then there are some extra shots of it, like just like different angles and stuff like that for more reference. Trying to get the locations to be accurate is also a challenge, so been trying to keep that consistent if I can. And then I also had it make different floors of the mansion. I'm trying to find the main hall. I think this is it. Yeah. So this is like one of the halls for the mansion. There's like other floors that I had to make too. So like this is the master bedroom. Where are you? Here it is. So like here's the master bedroom, and then here's like more of the black liquid. For the bot. Sure. Alright, Joanne, wake up. We need you to go vor something. As soon as I... Here we go. Stream manager. Alright, where is it? Alright, Joanne, eat it. Nom nom nom. But yeah, so there's like a lot. And then I did make like at first there was only going to be like 3 or 4 characters. But then I figured if I'm going to add in like rando characters, I might as well put in the effort to have extra characters made. So like for example, there's this guy. I named him Brooklyn. His job is basically to put it simply, he's more of a pimp. And so he's collecting from those who owe him money because he has to pay the debt to since he lives in the city. So he's like sharking lesser people for money. And then he has like a crew that I made for him and stuff like that. Here's one of Z's friends. Where is she? So this is one of Z's friends. Named her Rattle. And then her hands are covered in black because she dabbles in the black liquid too much. So she's like on and off being high all the time. So having her do something reliable is a bit of a challenge. For where Z lives, we have this character. There she is. I named her Juno. So she's on the thicker side, so she might help influence Z into eating more. So it could be that, or it could be something else that I have planned, or that I have thought of. So yeah, Juno's on the heavy side. The funny part is when I first had her made, the AI kept making her without underwear, and I was like, not that I'm against that, but I want her to have some underwear on. So that's what happened with her. Anything else to show that's relevant? There's others, but nothing that I think needs to be shown at the moment. But yeah, there's with the free points I was getting, I just said fuck it, I'll make more environments, I'll make more side characters and other stuff for the city, so that way it feels more lively. So whenever I get the chance to do more with them, there's like a whole bunch of other characters and stuff. But Z has definitely been the experiment character. So, oh yeah, I can show this, so I can show you what I mean. So like, this is a version that I'm experimenting with. So this is Z in like a even bigger state, and like I did like the editing to make her stomach rounder and stuff like that. Tried to get rid of like imperfections with the belly and stuff. So this is like a whole thing that I got the AI to do. But yeah. Here's like one of the. That's not it. Where is it? There's like a shot. Oh yeah, it is. So this was with a thing called Cling. Cling is okay. The problem is it couldn't get her face right. So what I did was that I took that into the site that I'm currently using, and had her like more fleshed out and stuff like that. So Cling was okay for some setups, but not for like textures and stuff like that. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. Is this it? Oh no, that was from the video. I used some of this as reference to try to get other AIs to pay attention, but so far Oi Oi has been like the better AI site, at least for me personally. But yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Oh yeah, and this was like the final render version that I managed to get it to do. Well, this I actually edited her head, because the one before this, because I saved different versions because you need to do that in order to experiment. So like, this is what I had before, this is what I got to do, because I wanted the face to be more consistent. And so see how it's like a little like smooth in spots and all that that's not supposed to, and then plus with the eyebrows it keeps mistaking the black as like an indent, so I tried to correct it on that. I fixed it here because I used a different head from a different body and then just um, edited it to or composited it into looking like it was part of her body and all that. So that's how I got that to work. Um, one more thing, and then this is funny. So for whatever reason, it made her go all savage and put her in like this like all on all fours pose and all that. So this is something I'll never use, but this is just like a result that it ended up giving me. But let me show these. Okay, so this was one render that it had given me, which was fine. Sure, it gave like the indent with the eyebrows, but that was just like neither here or there type of thing. And then I still wanted her to look like she was fatter, so I just went in and edited like extra rolls underneath her chin from like another picture of her to make it look like that. It's not perfect because of the lighting's a little bit off. I probably could go back in and use like this color to kind of shade in a little bit more. But that's all I can really do. Like here it is. I took this image for the neck rolls. And this was done. This was cleaned up with Kling because this shows up in the video, but the original version had like her have like a whole bunch of drool and stuff like that. So I told Kling to remove the drool, and then I used it as reference for the neck rolls for this. So yeah, lots of editing in order to figure out what the system can and can't do. Oh yeah, and this was like a random image that it gave me of Z at the club. I don't know why it gave me that. It did it randomly when I wasn't telling it to. Like that's like another thing. Sometimes you gotta tell the damn system to not render something when you're still like in the planning phase because sometimes it'll get confused and render something without realizing that you didn't want it to do that. But yeah, that's basically all that's been going on. Oh yeah, I can show this. This was like an early render that it gave me of just Z being a fatty. So at some point, I'm gonna have Z fall into the whole gluttony thing. Right now, she's in the whole like being depressed of her situation in the city. Probably might slip into more of the black lips or any other addictions that will happen, and then she'll fall into the final addiction. Will just be like eating because it makes her feel a lot better than everything else. But there'll probably be a like more proper reason for her to fall into it. But yeah, this was like a thing. There is one thing I could. Let me see if I can bring it in. Import. Let's try this. Is it in here? Might be in tests. Here it is. Do I want the audio? No. I don't know why it did that, so let me open a new folder. Hold on, let me read the chat. I know you guys have been saying some shit. Sydney forces a random slice for Joanne Lazy lazily yawns and opens her mouth. I'm delayed but arrive. Women big juicy burger. I know, right? But yeah, let me bring this in real quick because this was like this was like when I was first dabbling with it, trying to see what the thing could and couldn't do. I'm just gonna say yes, just because I don't know. Let me make this bigger. Hopefully, this will work. Let me get rid of the things. Bring me the timeline. It's in this. Oh, it's in over here. Timeline. There we go. See if this plays. Is it auto action? No, no. Where is the button that lets me play it? Because I know it's in here. Hold on. Is it just space? No. Damn it. Playback settings. Okay, it's in here, but I don't want to open up the other thing. Hold on. Maybe if I select object. There we go. Is it here now? Damn it. Hold on. Let me delete these. Worst case scenario, I just do it the other way. Okay, bring this in. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Got this. Should be easy to play. I don't know why it's tripping out. Edit track. That's weird. Why is it not? God, I wish that was me and AD. Right. Should be. It should have just been easy. Hold on. Maybe if I bring in the timeline. Let's see. Is this like something I can just drag in? No. Oops. New timeline? No. Alright, you're gonna have to do this the other way. Hold on. Get rid of that. Alright, hold on a moment. I thought with the gothic overtones, could Buck will be placed in Sable City. I thought about it of Natalie living in Sable City. I'll have to think more on it because with her, it's more about defeating monsters, and so I'm not sure if she falls into the same category, especially since where she's from, um, everything is like the population is humans rather than animal people. So it'd be a lot harder to drop her in. What is this? And why can I not? Properties. Oh, I was using this for a whole different thing. Gobbler. Done. Cool. Alright. Let me just bring this over. Not sure if it's going to have any audio, but we're going to find that out in a moment. Let me just... Alright, so this was one of the first things with Z that it gave me. So yeah, that was like a short thing that it gave me with Z. The art style would have been nice, but would have been nice to use, but I opted to do the 3D thing. So yeah, that was like one of the earlier stuff that the program gave me as a test, and it wasn't bad. It was definitely good. So if I ever want to dabble in that, I can probably experiment more. Um, One of the characters it gave me by accident. Um, like I told it to just have Z chilling with Juno, and for some reason it gave me. I guess I can close Gone Player now. They don't need to show anymore. At least not right now. Close that. So one of the characters it gave me by accident, and that was this character. And I decided to name her Biscuit. So it gave me this character. And the first render that it gave me of her was like this. Like just randomly. I did not ask for a Fox character at all. And not even like a Fox made. And it just threw it in. So I was sitting there just going like, what? I was like, well, how did I get this character? But now that she's here, I didn't want her to go. So now we have her. And so I'm putting her in like a cafe for Sable City. And then this is the turnarounds that it gave me for Burger Crunch. The Primitive City being such an awful place, there's plenty of entertaining material. Yeah, there's a lot to work with. I just gotta take my time with it because it's definitely gonna be a challenge putting it all together. But it'll be interesting to do. I just gotta take my time. But Biscuit is definitely one of the more cheerful characters. Like she's in the city for the same reasons as everybody else, but she's like more put together about it because things are a lot easier. In like because okay, so everything is technically like affordable in Sable City, but because of everybody's bad habits and other addictions and stuff like that, they make their lives hard themselves. Whereas Biscuit was just in a big like financial situation that just had her end up at the city. But given that things are relatively cheap, she's like more put together and able to establish a cafe business and just keep it stable. Like she's paying her debt as well, but it's only going to happen slowly, and of course, interest is a bitch. So, however long it takes her to actually pay it off is up in the air. But her cafe is like one of the more happier places to be at. But obviously, it's not like alcohol and sex and other stuff. So, she's only going to get the business that she's going to get. But she's definitely someone that you could talk to if you needed to. So, Biscuit's a fun character. That'll be coming along. Oh yeah, I can show this. Here's another location. So these are the apartments of where Z and various other characters live. Ignore the signs. That's just random shit that the AI put in. But these are the apartments that they live in, and it's like near the projects and stuff like that. Um, Here's like another shot of it, just like different angles. Yeah, Biscuit is definitely the most optimistic. Oops, cancel. I do not want to close. And then here's inside the apartments. So this is like the main hall once you walk through the front door. And Juno lives on the first floor, so she's like either around this corner or she's probably like a little bit upper floor. But it has like a makeshift kitchen here, some table, and a couch. So it has like a small like chill area before you go up to your apartment. Here's like another angle of it. It's good to have the extra angles because that way when the AI is trying to place the characters, um, it'll have more information to use. Oh yeah, here's Z's apartment. It put like blueprints or whatever on the wall, and I'm just like, that doesn't need to be there, but whatever. It's not like I could always just say it was there prior to her moving in, and she just never bothered to remove them because there was no point. And then one of the benefits of the city is that even if you like don't have enough to pay for rent and you end up getting kicked out of your apartment, all of your stuff will remain because the apartment is specifically yours. Like everybody gets a designated apartment, and if they can move up, like buy a home or something within the city, then sure, not likely, but it is possible. But yeah, uh, you retain your living area. You just have to be able to pay. It's almost like a subscription where if you miss a payment, you lose the service. But if you can pay off at least 1 month, then you can get it back for that time limit. So it's just a matter of doing it again. So that's like one benefit. You don't just have like all of your stuff thrown out or anything like that. It's like no, you just lose access until you can come back. And then this is a diner that I want Z to have worked in. Debating on if I'm gonna have her still working there for the series and then get let go, or if she was already let go beforehand. Probably the former, because I think showing her trying to get by first would be better to help build up her backstory and stuff like that. So show her trying to get through the city only for shitty stuff to happen, and then purchase her into doing other things. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I'm just showing how much effort I'm trying to put into this. And here's inside the diner. It's got some stuff wrong with like the background, but it is what it is. Because there should be like more like bigger buildings and stuff like that over here. But if I can get it to fix that, then I'll try to do that. But more important is just the interior. This is like a park that's like far off from the city. Like it's still within the city limits, but it's just like a random park that just fell apart over time. Rattle likes to come here, so I think I have one. Rattle. Yeah, and here's her spending time at the park. It kind of got her proportions wrong because it was only using like the main image as reference rather than putting her there as a whole. But I could always just say this was like a small swing for like kids and not for like adults. But if I have to, I can always just have it adjust the size whenever I put it into canon. There's like a nut. Oh yeah, here's Rattle at the bar getting high off of Black Lips. My mom said she saw the recent video with Z tripping balls from the Black Lips stuff, and she was just like, "What the hell is that about?" And I was like, "Oh," and so I had to explain it to her of what the fuck the whole scenario was about. So that was funny. I didn't think she would watch that, so that was a fun time trying to explain that. This one also has her proportions off because of the area, but just had her dancing in the rain. So whenever I have this like animated, it'll be interesting to try to get everything Correct. Any other things I want to show before I stop? Oh, here's another character that I ended up getting randomly because I used the free points from Cling, and it gave me this, so like a random parrot maid. And so I said, okay, fine. So I took it into Oi Oi and had her gave her a more official look, and I gave her a knife because I want her to work for the owner of the city, the god of the city, and have her be like sweet when she needs to be, and like threatening when necessary. So it's like if you try to do something to her master, she'll just straight up slash you. So she's like very deceiving. I almost wanted to say she was like a plush toy or something that came to life, but we'll see where it goes. Man, just her turnaround and stuff like that. But that was funny. My parents' minds would melt trying to comprehend that if I tried explaining. Well, she tried. My mom tried watching the first video with Z with the whole weight gain thing, and she was like, "Okay, all that food was too much." And I was like, "I was not expecting you to watch that or try to watch that." And the best way I could explain that video to her was just like, that's the whole weight gain kink fetish thing that I do normally. So don't try to understand it. Like the first video was mostly for fun, but I can make it canon. I just have to like make it make sense in terms of like the lore in order to make it canon. So like I could say that whatever scenario that causes Z to be a fucking glutton, um, that first video could be like her hallucination or daydream or whatever, but like she's like realistically doing something similar. But I do want her to like gradually get that fat. So even if the first video does end up being non-canon in terms of how the chain of events would happen, I do want her to physically look the way she ends up in the video. So it would take some time. But the first video was initially just for fun. I think that's basically it. Um, Trying to see if there's anything else that I want to show. Because all the other characters I don't need to show right now. But there's at least like 5+ other characters. I will show this one. This one's name is Roxy. I want her to be a guitar. She's supposed to be a guitarist that plays in like bars and other clubs for some cash, and so she'll be fun to show up. At first, when I first got the render of her, it gave her like small boobs and made her thin. I was like, no, she's supposed to be a big titty goth chick. So I told the thing to make her boobs and belly at least 3 times their size, and so I got this. So I was like, cool. I tried to give her fishnets, but it was like fucking up with the fishnets, so I had it. So I just went back to this version. So your mom knows about all. Oh god. Explaining, okay, even before the AI stuff and before all that, explaining to my mom how I do my job was a journey. Because at first she was like, because when it came to like commissions and stuff like that, she was worried that if I drew my own characters and for commissions that people would try to take the rights and all that. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. Explaining the whole weight gain thing was an interesting conversation. This was like years ago that I had to explain that. She follows me on YouTube, so that's how she saw the AI videos. So yeah, she's watched all of them so far. She didn't watch the Waking one all the way through. She only watched like the first few minutes, and then she's like, okay, that's too much for her. But she did watch the other ones. Um, and then understanding how I was getting paid throughout the years was a interesting conversation because in the beginning years, seeing art as a job was very hard to convince people that it was a job. So AI doesn't understand our fetish needs. Okay, so the interesting part is that if you try to tell the AI that the character is a glutton or something like that, or anywhere along those lines, it will register that sometimes as a restriction, as like too fetishy that it can't do. So you have to high virus mom. um, but you have to like dance around words and terms for the AI in order to get it to do what you want, and it's really hard. Oi Oi specifically doesn't do not safe for work, but there is another site that does. But that site is harder to use because they give you fewer options compared to Oi Oi, because Oi Oi is specifically made to do the animation stuff, and so it has a better pipeline. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do both, but I think I'm just gonna have to opt to only doing the PG-13 stuff. However, there was a weird scenario where I was doing a test render and it mistaken Z as male, and so it showed her topless, like with nipples and everything, but it thought she was male, and that's how it got past the security check. And so male boobs are fine, but not female boobs. So, by that logic, if I can trick the AI into thinking Z was male, like assuming I even attempted to do something not safe for work, which I don't think I could get that far aside from just boobs, because anything else I don't think will trigger, or I don't think will work. Like, obviously, I don't think we're going to see a dick and vagina or anything like that. But if I wanted to get boobs, all I'd have to do is tell the AI that Z is male, and then figure out how to tell the AI to keep the voice to be female, and see how that works. So that's if I want to dick around with it. But it did give me that render, so, and I saved it because I'm like, yeah, I'm not losing this. Like, I need this for research purposes, like literally. But but yeah, so that happened. It accidentally gave her naked boobs, but they treated him like a male, so they were like male boobs. So they weren't that like and they weren't that like round or whatever. They're like typical fat guy type of boobs. But it still happened, so it is possible. I just gotta get it. I would just have to fuck with it. But yeah, that was a thing. Moves being a workaround is hilarious. Yes, exactly. The fact that it happened, and it was a complete accident. I don't know, like, I forget what I told it to do, but it had nothing to do with her being male. So I must have misworded something. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wish I didn't delete the video, because I saved the video onto my computer, but I deleted it from the workflow and like whatever prompts was associated with it. But I mean, I know what to do though if I wanted to recreate it. But but I don't know what I said specifically that made the system think that they were male. You know what? It could be because here's the thing with Oi Oi. If you tell it to do a storyboard, for some reason it translates it into Japanese, and you can make it translated back into English, but like the setup is changed because it'll put everything into like timestamps and stuff like that. This is when it's in the storyboard form and not just like crank out a video on its own type of thing. So in the storyboard, because it writes it in Japanese and then you retranslate it into English, every once in a while it'll mistaken Z as male, and it'll keep saying he over and over instead of she. And I've had to correct this a few times where I would go into the text and read word for word to make sure it's like obeying the rules that I've established. And every once in a while, it'll switch over her gender to male. And so I think the first time that I was doing that, it mistook her as male, and that's how I ended up with the moves, with the male boobs. And it was just so jarring that it happened that I was just like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" So I think it happened in that situation the first time, and since then I've been like reading it to make sure that it kept her gender the same. So I think that's like the unintentional workaround if I ever wanted her to have naked boobs from Oi Oi. I would laugh if they like tried to figure out what how that if like somehow that came out and they're like, "How the hell did you have it do that?" I was like, I don't want to tell because I don't want you to remove it. I mean, I'm sure they could figure it out if they wanted to, but that shit was funny. Yeah, the consistent handholding is definitely the exhausting part about it because if you're trying to get the shot to be perfect, you have to be so god. Like this is why I think people like what now that I've dabbled with AI a bit, I think people assuming that AI is just going to crank out what you want with the press of a button is extremely exaggerated because you got if you want it to be good, you have to put in effort. Even though a lot of the effort is taken away because the AI is doing the majority of the work, there's still other work that's necessary in order to actually make it look good. Because like even with the first video I got, obviously there are tons of mistakes that happen in that video, like the number of fingers that Z has changes several times. Which at that point I just kind of shrugged it off. I'm like, look, I'm not focused on on the number of fingers she has. Like, if the shot is still good, I don't give a shit if she has four fingers or five. Obviously, she's like teleporting around the scene, so like she's not always sitting in the same area. Although you could excuse that for her just getting up and moving over to a different part of the table in order to grab more food. So that could be the excuse for that. Once or twice in those scenes, did did the background kind of shift a bit. It didn't do it all the time, which was good, but it did it like once or twice that I noticed. Um, there were like a few mistakes. Sometimes the furniture would move around a bit, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I tried to make the best of whatever I could get from the AI because like I knew there was going to be mistakes. That was the point. Like I expected the problems, and learning how to fix it was the interest. It was like the puzzle. And in some scenarios, you have to tell the AI that something is already in the scene, so that way it doesn't just magically pop up. Because if it's already there, then then you can proceed without any other issues. But you don't want things like showing up. Like there was like the scene where Z sees the giant cake in the first video. Um, Originally the cake just shows up out of nowhere, and then like one of the errors that it gave me was like it gave the cake like eyes and stuff like that for some fucking reason. I have no idea how it came to that conclusion, but I managed to figure out how to make the cake show up after the camera pans past her head, and I was like, great, perfect, I want that shot. And so that's how I fixed that. So yeah, like once you learn how the AI functions, it definitely gets easier, but it's still going to make the mistakes that it's going to make because like when you tell her to like walk up to the table and then sit down in the chair, it's going to like the chair alone is going to be the part that breaks you because sometimes the chair will just like morph into place. Sometimes you have to like tell the thing that the chair was already there so that way she can grab it normally. Sometimes her belly doesn't interact properly with the table because like there'll be scenes where I tell it where I want her belly to press against the table, but then there'll be moments where her belly is just underneath the table and not interacting at all. So it'll just hiccup like you're just gonna have those issues. Obviously, if we're if all this was made with like human made models and stuff like that, and I'm using like a 3D program and all that, I can make it work however the hell I want it to work. But again, I don't have the time to put in to do that because I'm already doing everything else, and so the AI is my second choice. How dare you use it's harming artists? Artist uses AI. How dare you use AI? Yeah, definitely those situations. But yeah, like hand holding the program is definitely the struggle. Oh yeah, let me get back to working on this. Hand holding the AI is definitely the struggle. Put on some music while we're chatting. Um, and so it's definitely not something that's going to be easy, at least not if you're trying to make something serious. Um, but all I can really say is that I'm trying to make something a little serious with it. I'm not trying to like just pump up random AI stuff, which I could. I can still have the characters do some like shenanigans or something. Like maybe from time to time I might do that where I'll be like, all right, here's Z eating a burger, or here's Rattle working at a coffee shop or something. Maybe every once in a while I might do something like that and put it up as like a short or something. But my main intention is to have like an actual series of the characters trying to live in this awful city and trying to get by, and then maybe like other crazy stuff happens in the city, like characters trying to rob each other, or trying to overthrow the owner of the city or something. So again, I'm using it as a tool. I am not using it to replace my art, which I don't know why so many people assume that that's what I was doing. And again, for those who were like upset and like, oh, you could have collaborated with other artists and stuff like that, I'm like, well, for starters, none of you even recommended any artist that could fit that role. So that seemed kind of counterintuitive. It was like, okay, you're gonna bitch about not working with another artist, but then you proceed to not suggest anyone. But then of course there's the whole issues with collabs type of thing. It's like, it would take even longer to get the collaboration up and running and do it properly than it would just dicking around with the AI. And I'm not saying I would use the AI over collaboration, but if I didn't have that planned, then it's not happening. And then I definitely wouldn't want to do it for like people trying to do it for free type of thing. It's like, I'd rather pay people to actually make that happen. But at the moment, that's not happening financially. If I ever make enough to support something like that, sure, why not? I'll do something original. Like I won't use Sable City for a collab with other artists. We'll do something more unique, but it's definitely not happening right now. And Sable City is specifically AI based. That's why I made the characters for it. But no, it is not replacing my normal art. I'm just baffled that people came to that conclusion. I was just like, how? How did you assume that that's what I was doing? Because that's their programming. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of people who are set programmed with talking points that I've noticed. Like they'll argue, they'll make the argument, but then they won't know anything past whatever they've been told without looking things up, or at the very least understanding what it is that they're that they're complaining about. And yes, I understand the negatives of it and all that, but that's already happening with everything else. And plus, when they make the argument, it's like, oh, you know, this causes blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, but the facility is already there. That's like me complaining about paper. It's like, oh, you know, paper is made from trees. Like, okay, but I'm not going to waste the trees that were already chopped down. That's like literally like the hunting metaphor or analogy, where it's like, well, when you hunt something, you're not just going to leave it there, are you? Are you going to make use of it or what? Like, you don't just hunt something and then that's the end of it. You're gonna use up its resources for food or make necklaces, whatever it is you're gonna do with it. So I chose to not waste the resources that are given. But I'm definitely not gonna give up drawing. Well, the weird thing is how people will complain about, you know, supporting humans, but then they'll proceed to say like, "Oh, you should die." And like, wait. So let me get this straight. You don't want me to use this thing because you want me to support humans, but you want me to die. Like, I'm not saying I myself did not get any death threats, but I've seen people get death threats, and I'm like, but you want the person to die, but that person is human. So you're being a hypocrite by wanting to kill a person for not supporting people. And I'm just like, what? It's like, make that make sense. But anyway, I am still gonna make more with Sable City. I just gotta get the next scenes and stuff like that ready. I don't know if I'm gonna do it this week or another week, but we'll see what I have time for. But I like Z, that's why I made her. Wanted to have a thick goth lizard woman. Wanted a model, got scammed with AI avatar. Tried to get actual artists to make real art out of it. Wait, what? So they tried to get a VTuber, got scammed with a AI version, tried to have artists convert it into actual art, and then got yelled at for using it. Well, that's fucked up, especially if the person already explained the situation. Then there should be no argument. It would just be like, hey, I got given this AI version of the character. Can you make actual art of it? And then that should be the end of it. Like, they should not have gotten yelled at for that. That's dumb. If that's how that happened, that's dumb. And people are purposely misunderstanding the situation because they're stupid. Or they're just trying to make an argument that doesn't exist. Yeah, I agree. There are. It's like the situation I had with Joe Lasco, where because of Marcy's age in the comic, they didn't want to give me a character that I was willing to adopt. And so I just made my own character out of response. It's like, okay, I was willing to pay for this character, but if you're gonna be on my ass because of a character's age during a comic where their age is completely irrelevant to the story, then sure. And so I just made my own character. And that's how we ended up with, God, I'm so horrible with names. What did I name you? That's how we ended up with Gula. One time I hired a dude on Fiverr to do some game dev. He ended up giving me a broken game that was 100% AI coded and acid it. Damn. Well, Fiverr I don't trust at all at this point because all I've heard about, like, I've heard a few good stories of people using Fiverr, but a good majority of the time it's just been bad because it's like cheap. Like, you got to remember you're getting what you pay for a lot of situations. Obviously, somebody scamming you with AI is definitely bad, but if you're expecting to get something decent from a site that's supposed to be cheap and all that, it's kind of expected, to be honest. But all I've heard is just horror stories from Fiverr, so I will never use that site for anything like that. But if I could get AI to make me a fucking busted ass game with game coding and all that, I would give it a shot. More likely, I would use a site that is more dedicated to something like that. But it would be interesting to try to get something going like that. But yeah, at least with Oi, it's definitely a lot more streamlined compared to the other AI sites that I've ventured to see how they've tried to function. A lot of the time, it's really hard to find out what they're capable of if you're trying to do it for free, because a lot of functions just don't work under free, which is really stupid for trying to get people on board with AI. Because, okay, like, if you want people to use the program, to use the AI or use your platform, giving them points that isn't going to give them a really good first impression is not the way to go. Like, if all they can do is just generate a couple of images, that's not going to sell them on it, at least not when you're trying to get them on, like, animation and stuff like that, because they won't have the points to even generate one animation. And even if they do have enough, most of the sites only give you like 5 seconds worth of animation, and that's assuming that they're even able to do the proper prompts, put in the proper reference, whatever. Like, Oi to me is the best one for that situation because they specifically built the site to do that. All the other sites that I've seen basically function the same way, and they're all pretty shitty, with the exception of what is it called? There was one site that I found that sucks less than most of the others. Let me see, what was it called? Reality Fabricator, because they have a section where you can make not safe for work stuff, and that one came closer to getting it right than all of the others. The problem, though, is that it only lets you put in one reference, and all it's really doing is just trying to recreate that reference based on whatever instructions you gave it. And it's not as precise as Oyoi's pipeline, because Oi lets you put in like a shit ton of reference, and it lets you like generate assets and use those assets as like actual objects and stuff like that. And so if Oi ever decided to make a not safe for work version of the site, then it would be peak. Like, Oi would be the best, personally. To me, Oi is the best. at the moment because of what I've gotten it to do so far. But if they ever made a not safe for work version, then that would be peak, like personally. But Reality Fabricator is probably second, only because of what it's able to do, or the potential of it. But you would have to do a lot more work to get anything useful out of it compared to Oi Oi. Lessons were learned. There was a couple red flags, and I chose to ignore them and give the benefit of doubt. Well, hopefully you didn't spend too much. Like, it sucks that you got ripped off, but hopefully you didn't spend too much. Okay, what next? She's wearing a cloth top, so that's not gonna be shiny. Put a little bit over here. Alright, so Z is basically done with this part, so just gotta add in the last few steps, and we're pretty much good with her. I'm gonna stop in a few more minutes. But yeah, if you want anything actually good out of AI, then you gotta put in effort. The effort that people say that doesn't exist if you use AI. Which, now that I know, is bullshit. Like, sure, if you're just cranking out random props where the AI is going to fuck up and you just post it anyway, then yes, that is classified as AI slop. But the stuff where people are actually trying to use the AI as an actual tool and make something decent with it, no, that is not AI slop. So, through my experience, I have now learned the difference. Ooh, fuck. Yeah, like, even if you could earn it back, and it's not, obviously it's not the end of the world, but even if you can earn it back, that's still fucked up. Yeah. Hopefully you'll find somebody that can do it legit in the future. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened. That should have not have been a situation that you were a part of. And again, like, this is that's part of the problem when people try to argue, don't use AI, get real artists and stuff like that. Like, that's also part of the problem. Like, sometimes you'll get people that just scam you, or you'll get the situation where I need to fix that. You'll get a situation where artists will take forever to get the commission done, or they'll put you on a giant list even though you were early. And it's like, because there was like one artist where she had like a gigantic list of commissions that she owed people, and she kept moving people lower and lower on the list because she was, air quotes, giving other people priority because they paid a little extra to have their commissions done sooner than others. But because that kept happening, that meant that other people were like perpetually always going to be lower and lower on the list because other people were paying for priority. So you had people waiting like a year plus for their commission that they had already paid for. And some people had paid like 200, 300 or however much they paid. And it was just like a forever thing. And it was like really shitty. And it's like, well, damn, this is why people have a hard time trusting artists. So it's like a lose-lose situation. It's like it's already a struggle to be an artist for various reasons. And then you have people either pretending to be artists and using AI to scam people, or you have people who are supposed to be artists also scamming people. And then you just have the normal issues of AI projects taking too long to do because of someone's schedule, or they have like a mental problem, which, you know, if they need help, they need help. But if they took on a job, spend 6+ months, you know, ghosting you or saying that they're working on it, and then you find out, oh, they had a emergency or a mental problem or something, and they just don't do your commission, it's like, well, if you didn't do it, I want my money back. And then hopefully they don't give you shit for that. And then there's the possibility of people trying to, you know, cancel you online for like, oh my god, I can't believe you demanded money back from somebody who was having a mental issue. It's like, you know, there's so many goddamn variables now. And most of this has always been an issue even before AI. But it doesn't help that it's all gotten worse over the recent years. Because I want to say, like, after like 2017, maybe 2016, things just started getting like fucking ultra sensitive, or like hyper mental issues type of thing. It's like, damn. It's like, is nobody going to take proper responsibility for things? Is everything going to have to be a personal issue like every fucking time? But I don't blame people for making the decisions that they make when it comes to whether or not they use artists for stuff, because nobody's making it easy, whether it be real artists or scammers. And I need to fix this one last god fucking time, because I need to fix the errors that happened. Merge. Whoa, that was weird. Why did it do that? Oh, fuck. That's why. I was like, what the fuck happened? And that is why Control Z is our best friend. And then we gotta remember, people had the same issues about Photoshop and photography. People were like, photography is not art. Photoshop is cheating. So, and I'll be honest, I had the same thoughts about Photoshop in the beginning too. Until I realized, like, no, whatever problems I had with it, it was completely not warranted. Like, that was just total ignorance. AI is just a bigger semi shortcut, because I say semi because it's still not perfect. If it was perfect, then yes. But it's definitely not perfect, and you still need to put in effort. Control Z, my beloved. One thing that doesn't help is hustle culture. Yeah, that's another issue. Is there's too many people just trying to make that bread over. I don't even know if morality is like the right word for it, but it's there's definitely people willing to do shittier things in order to make money, and they don't care who they hurt and step on in order to do it. Like in that aspect, and yeah, it's like I don't want to support people like that. I was like, why do I have that layer? I was like, oh yeah, because I was doing this. It's the same exact thing when people said book, DVD, video game. Yeah. Oh yeah. All that stuff with people saying those games are satanic. Yeah, it's the same bullshit. And again, like if people really cared, like for those who keep saying like the environment and all that, it's like okay, so if what you believe in is true, you're telling me you do not use a vehicle, you do not use cell phones, you do not use electricity, you do not use gasoline, you live in the forest in a tent, because that is the only way that I can believe your stance. But that's whatever at this point, because that's that's just nitpicking. Oh yeah, yeah. Like what water alone is already misused as it is. If we're talking about like the ozone layer, we're already fucked up in that area too. Like AI isn't like I will say AI is likely adding to these issues, sure, but is not stuff that was not already happening. Sure, there's the argument of like, well, just because it's already happening doesn't mean you make it worse or you give the companies the idea to keep doing it. Like, sure, you can make that argument, but my stance is it's already there. Why not use it? Because you're already sacrificing the materials to have these data places anyway. Like it's already done. They're already built. Like the resources are already being consumed. You might as well make the most of it so that way they're not being consumed for nothing. Like again, it's like the whole hunters analogy. It's like you already killed the animal. Are you gonna make the most of it, or are you just gonna leave it to rot and hopefully other animals will consume it? But who knows? All right, let me just do one more thing for Z, and then we'll call it for the night, or two more things technically. I do not need a folder for that. There we go. So let me do this, and then we'll do the last part, and then all that's left after that is oh, god damn it, is a background because it creates a demand that needs to be supplied. Yeah, exactly. Like I understand using it means that it's creating a demand, or at least like shows that there is some sense of want, and thus they'll create more. But I mean, that literally goes for everything else that's also bad for the planet. So I don't know. All I can say is I am using it as the tool that I intend to use it for. And if that, I disagree with that argument. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm using it for the tool that it is, and if my use of it means that I get a thick-thighed goth lizard woman becoming a gigantic fat ass, then that is the choice I decided to make using AI. And I had a good time making it. I even had the AI make a song literally talking about what Z is doing. And all it's saying this is just Z just stuffing herself silly, being big and bloated with her big belly. And that is the song if you listen to the lyrics. I wish I had a script of the lyrics or a text document of the lyrics. I do not. But if you listen to it, it is literally talking about Z just being a fatty. I will never say no to a woman becoming absurdly fat blonde. Yeah, and that like I think I can show this. Let me bring back. Let me bring this back. This was the well. I mean, there was probably there was more in the initial video, but yeah. Let me bring this back for a moment. So I think it's in here. So this was me testing stuff, and there's like some problems with this still, but this was like the closest I got to making Z bigger on her own. So yeah, I had that going on. But yeah, that was just like another test because I was trying to get it to be more consistent with making Z bigger and bigger. So, because that's a version that doesn't show up in the initial video, although the video does show her like gigantic and all that. So I could say that that was like a better version technically that got put in the video. But that's like one where I'm trying to keep her like consistently bigger. But that was like another test of that. But yeah, that one that clip doesn't show up in the main video. I know crunchy chicken. I had fun with the food being crunchy, but I tried to also make it like consistent. Where if she was eating certain things, it was supposed to be like wet. Oh, why was she crying? It's supposed to be sweat, and for some reason they kept putting it on her eyes like she was crying. Um, I could excuse that as just she's eating so much that it's starting to be like either painful or a struggle. But initially, it's supposed to be sweat, and for some reason, it kept doing that. Um, I did find out through more testing that I could get rid of that problem by saying no tears or whatever. Like keep it from the eyes and stuff like that. Like she's not crying or something. But that was after the fact. Like the first video was a lot of trial and error. Like I learned more stuff afterwards, but yeah, that it was supposed to be sweat because there's like another scene where it looks like she has like cream or something on her face or cake batter or something, and it just makes it look weird. And it was supposed to be just sweat, like she wasn't supposed to have all that on her eyes and stuff like that. It was just the AI misunderstanding what I was telling it. You like how Huon can make great mountain-sized blobs, but could do the same. I mean, drawing it, yeah, I could do the same thing. If you're talking about AI, I could figure it out. There are worse applications of AI immediately. uh, I can't wait for the day AI gets to the point where we make fatties of sizes we have not yet conceived yet. Yeah, eating sounds pretty off-putting. Yeah, I'll have to tweak the sounds of her eating if I can. Try to make it more natural, so it's not just like crunch. Because I remember getting one comment saying like, "Why is the food so crunchy?" Part of me likes that because I like the sound of it, but that's just because I've seen so much fucking waking content that doesn't bother me. But that's more of a me thing. But yeah, I can try to pay attention to the food sounds when I try testing more. Oh yeah, I could hand draw it. That's easy. Like I do that. I already do that. Like a lot of the crazier stuff is in the paid content or the stuff I have on Patreon and all that. And then some of it I even post on like let me see. Where is do grab that? Because I know I've posted crazy stuff on my galleries anyway. Let me type in this and see what I get. Yeah, like I already do that with like Pepper. I've done it with Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. I've definitely done it with Tiffany. Yeah, like I already do that. Like if you haven't noticed it, then you haven't been paying attention. Like there's one with Blake already. Yeah, I've already done that stuff. If you're talking like galaxy size stuff, like the size of a planet, no, I haven't done that yet, but I'm like not really as interested in it because it just kind of loses all meaning to me when they get to that size. Because I don't know, it personally it pulls me out of of the of the kink slash fetish because after a certain point it just not is not fun to me when it gets to that point. It just I don't know it like the immersion disappears when it gets to that point for me. Am I willing to draw something like that? Sure. I don't know when I would do it. Maybe I'll do it for an art set. Maybe I'll do it for whatever other reason. But not it's not personally a a a choice that I would make. I dare you to make a mountain-sized blob of Caitlyn. I mean, I can do that anytime, but it just depends. It just matters. The whole point is if I'm in the mood to even do it, because again, it's not my favorite version of weight gain. What is the biggest I'm willing to go? I'll go any size. Like again, I don't care what the size is. I just have a preference. That's all. I can make them the size of a galaxy. I can make them the size of a planet, mountain, I can make them. I can even do the shrinking thing. I can make them teeny tiny. I can do giants characters, turn characters into robots, tentacle stuff, whatever. None of that matters. It just boils down to preference. Am I willing to draw that stuff even though it's not my preference? Sure, I've already done that stuff. I've done that anyway. Like nothing is new. Nothing is different. like like I've already gone out of my comfort zone multiple times. Like nothing's changed. Greetings. I do like the two. Thanks. But yeah, like how big am I willing to go? The answer is whatever. it it there's nothing off limits. But I do have a personal preference of things, and those preferences are usually tied to making whatever the theme is to be as optimized as it can, so that way I can enjoy it. It's kind of like that one Vor comic. What was Flo and like what the 13 kids or whatever it was called. Like in the beginning, it was interesting. It was interesting, but then after a certain point, it just kind of lost its magic because it started becoming convoluted. And then even like the creator like stopped working on it for whatever reason. I don't know if it was for like personal reasons or something like that, but they just didn't finish the comic. But but yeah, like, after like the first like initial chapters, or at least like the first initial scenes of that comic, it just fell off heavily. And then it didn't even make sense at a certain point where it was like, oh, I ate the village. And I was like, you definitely don't look like you did. The king shouldn't be made boring, yes, and that's part of the reason why I stopped doing commissions, because the commissions was slowly making it boring, or slowly like taking the fun out of it, and so I stopped because I didn't want to burn out. Did you check my Wolf's character's bio? No, I did not. I do hope that you're staying cool as well. Yeah, it's been hot. I have the air conditioner on here. I do have some water, although I need to get some more in a bit. I will once the stream's over. I had a milkshake earlier today, just because I didn't initially plan on getting a milkshake, but because I was sitting in the car so fucking long to get some food and all that, because I went to Jack in the Box. I was sitting in line for so long that I was just fucking sweating because the air conditioner in my car is broken. So all I had was my windows down, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll get the milkshake. So won't do that too often, but I was like, fuck it, I'm in a milkshake mood. What does Becky think of water? She'd be like, I don't drink that shit. Yeah, she definitely doesn't drink water as much as she should, but she still drinks it from time to time when she's like just needs to cool off, or has had like a bad hangover, so she just needs to drink some water to get through it. Although I could say that some of her solution is just to drink more alcohol to get rid of her hangover. She's like, fuck, this hangover sucks. Pulls out a bottle of whiskey. Takes a few hits of whiskey. She's like, that's better. 10, 15 minutes later, you just see her passed fucking out in the uh, in the storage room or in the employees lounge. Just passed the fuck up, face down, ass up. Her boss is just like, God damn it. It's like her boss gets pissed that she's, passed the fuck out from drinking again on the job. But then at the same time, huge fat ass right there in front of him. Wait, what's he gonna do? Obviously, he's not gonna just take advantage of her, but still, all she's really doing is giving him more reason to keep dating her. It's like, God damn it, you are a mess, but God damn your ass. I swim in it. I don't drink it, right? Give her some Russian water, vodka. Exactly. It's like, Becky, are you drinking water? Like, yeah, I'm drinking water. And they take a sniff. It's like, what the hell is this? It's like, what? It's vodka. It's like, I said drink water. I am drinking water, Russian water. And they'd be like, that's not what I meant. And you know it. He's like, well, you need to be more specific next time. Alright, think we're good on that. I think I need to round that out a bit more though. Let me just do this real quick. God damn it, I keep clicking on that one. I'm just glad that I zoomed in on her face, assuming that I would make that mistake. And I was right. There we go, that's better. I know me. Alright, so I've got all that. All that's left is this step. And okay, all that's left is a background, but I don't feel like working on that right now. I'll probably do it off stream, just because it's not going to be anything special. But hold on, let me read some messages. Okay, hard to get more specific than water. Do you know about Chaco N? Oh yeah, I know Chaco N. They do some fun stuff every once in a while. I think there's like a few situations that a few scenes that I've liked every now and then. I haven't seen this stuff in a while though, so I'd have to revisit the DeviantArt. But why did something happen with Chaco N? You're like, oh, speaking of, I was like, oh, what happened? Something happened. Found out they drew Saphira from at some point. Oh yeah. I think I might have seen it like a while back. It sounds familiar. It sounds like something I would have saw from Chaco N. I could be wrong, but yeah. Thank you everybody for coming. Like I said, I'll do the background for Z. Probably off stream, just something simple, nothing crazy. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. What is tomorrow? Well, soon to be today. Today is Thursday, so it'll be Friday in a few minutes. So probably post this in the morning. I'm gonna keep working on the stuff I'm working on. I'm working on the next collector's set, which hopefully I can have ready for Friday. Then I'm gonna be just working on the comic stuff. Post those as soon as they're ready, and yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing. Really, if I have time for any more AI stuff, then I will. Probably gonna be a while because I want to do another like episode thing rather than skits, but or not skits, but just like shorts. I might put some time into the shorts, like just something simple, like just showing like characters on the doing like slice of life stuff or something. So like Z hanging out at like a restaurant, just eating a burger, just trying to like relax or something, or any of the other characters fooling around. So we'll see what happens. I'll put time into it when I have the time. But but um, but yeah. Thank you everybody for coming. I will post stuff when they're ready, and I will see you guys next week. Probably gonna do Tuesday again. This week I was just busy with stuff, so that's why I didn't stream. But yeah, hopefully Tuesday there won't be any issues and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys have a good day, and good day, and I will see you guys next time. All right.